Now this is one of Scott's historical huts on the island. This hut was built between 1901 and 1904, but Scott and his men never actually lived inside it because it's actually designed on an Australian house. It has been cold as it is outside. It's done a really good job, but it's been here since 1971, so in parts of it it is falling apart. But the biggest problem with all that blowing snow through the winter, it started to bury it. So you folks have gone and built a brand new station at the South Pole. Here's your brand new base. Here's the dome. You can see how they've had to be digging it out. This is the entrance way down here. It's actually 18 stories high. Now what's fantastic about this brand new station, it's on hydraulic stilts. The theory is the wind will blow under the building, but if that doesn't work, all they need to do is push a button. They'll have 4 days to get there. Weather get nasty, we'll take off, the weather turn bad, back to McMurdo, try again the next day. So finally on the 4th day, you can see it's not a very nice day, but we have landed. I've jumped off the Hercules here, had my photo taken with the 12 original countries to sign the Antarctic Treaty. Then I ran around the pole to run around the world. Did a handstand to hold up the world. It'll go dead straight because there's no humidity in the air. You can't catch a cold down there because it's just too cold for bugs to live. But with the cold, your nose just continuously drips and drips and drips. It's alright for the guys, they grow a nice big beard, it drips, it freezes, they have snot-sickles coming off their cheeks. Us ladies just get really red noses. Snot-sickles. So guys, when you go to Antarctica,
oh wow.
Now a lot of people say to us, why do science in Antarctica? Probably the best reason is it's in pristine condition. And scientists are able to study all kinds of things from marine life, minerals, ozone layer, global warming, just to name it. 4 types of penguins found on the Ross Island area. These are the beautiful emperors, which
they open up their skin like legs inside.
They're flat right at the bottom of their feet.
And they
You just
Keep them
warm.
there to keep them warm. Imagine that last one. And this roll of fat, well, penguin, he's very gentle, very shy. He's just beautiful. And of course, you know nothing grows in Antarctica, so they make their nests out of pebbles. And you'll find the chin strap. Now, he's naughty. He'll chase you and he'll bite you on the back of the leg and he'll twist. Oh, yeah. And then he'll straighten out his little flabber there and he'll karate chop you right on one of your bones. Hurts. Don't go by this guy. He's naughty. He's a naughty guy. And here am I with a little couple of Adelies that wandered into base. From time to time, the penguins will come into base. And everyone will let everyone else know if they have come in. So I found out these guys were down at Hut Point about 2 o'clock in the morning. Berg over there with a couple of big fat seals in it. Down they go, and if there's 4 of them, or even 3, 2 will get on one side of the iceberg and another one. And then they just start going up and down into the water like this. And of course the iceberg goes like this and up top. And lunch is served. Temper animals. On to the seals. Here we go. We've got the Waddell seal here. He's just lovely. He's doing a nice circle. And you'll also find the crab-eater seal. He doesn't like crab, he likes krill. Now they like to hang out on our photo at Scott Base. They like to hang out in front of the frozen sea ice here, just in front of our base. You can smell them before you see them. They stink. Step outside in the cockpit with the Kiwis over on the frozen sea ice. Fine for the guys running around. They're going to keep warm. A bit cooler if we're just sitting here looking. Now this is an organised event, I can tell this is an show. It's called the Polar Plunge. And we're going to do this later on, guys. Now we do this swim 4 times a year. We do 1 for midsummer and 3 during the winter. 1 for sunset, for midwinter, and when this...
The wind suddenly stopped. You get so used to the constant howl. When it stops, the silence makes your ears ring.
Tyler? Well, if you think it's getting risky, you can always bring a few lines to the steering and put behind it. That way if the track comes through there.
Slippery. Okay. Watch out, huh? Very slippery.
It goes down, that's why it's so hard. It goes down and that's what makes it good.
Hey.
Slippery.
Where'd you go, Pete? I put a picture up here.
I want to take this picture.
Yeah.
Huh? Okay.
You know.
In between these new lands, huge oceans opened up, and like 80 million years ago, Antarctica was completely surrounded by water. Then it became colder, so cold that almost all life disappeared from the land. And by 15 to 30 million years ago, ice covered everything. But how do we know Gondwana ever existed? Fossils and rocks give us the vital evidence. Geologists have discovered that many fossils and rocks from Antarctica are the same as ones they found on other southern continents. So it seems once it was all one land. This is where the continents are now, but of course they will always be slowly moving. People often get Antarctica mixed up with the Arctic, so how are they different? The Arctic is a frozen sea with land around it, while Antarctica is a frozen continent with oceans around it. In fact, Antarctica is the 5th largest continent on Earth. It's nearly half as big again as the USA, almost twice as big as Australia, and New Zealand would fit into Antarctica 60 times. By the way, New Zealand is quite close to Antarctica, but South America is its closest neighbour. What is the weather like in Antarctica? Well, it's the coldest place on Earth. It can get so cold that even steel will shatter when dropped. But why is Antarctica so cold? To reach the Earth, the sun's rays have to travel through the atmosphere, where they lose heat. Near the poles they lose more heat because they enter the atmosphere at an angle and have farther to travel. When they finally reach the poles, the rays are spread over a larger area and have become so weak they can't even melt the ice. People who work in Antarctica need a good wind jacket because it's the windiest place on Earth. It's windy because the ice sheet is shaped like a dome. Cold air currents come rolling down from the high ground, and because there is nothing to slow them, they often reach speeds of 150 kilometres an hour, with gusts of more than 190 kilometres an hour. Only cyclones reach this sort of speed in the rest of the world. And surprisingly, Antarctica is also the driest continent on Earth, almost as dry as the Sahara Desert. In fact, at the South Pole, only an average of 5 millimetres of snow falls each year. With air as dry as this, people in Antarctica have to drink a lot to avoid dehydration. Antarctica is completely surrounded by the Southern Ocean, and this ocean is made up of 3 different water layers: cold on top, warmer in the middle, and very cold at the bottom. The waters of the Southern Ocean also flow in different directions. Close to shore, surface water is flowing west, or further out to sea, it flows east. The place where the 2 opposing currents meet is called the Antarctic divergence. Here, the water from the middle warmer layer is pulled up to the surface, bringing with it huge numbers of tiny krill. Many seabirds are attracted to this place because krill is their favourite food. Some surface water flows northwards away from the divergence and meets warmer sub-Antarctic water at a place called the Antarctic convergence. Much of the Southern Ocean is covered in seasonal sea ice. September is when the sea ice has reached its greatest area and can be up to 3 metres thick. In spring, the ice begins to break up, and by late February, the sea ice is at its minimum. Antarctica has some beautiful valleys and mountains, but only the highest peaks can be seen above the thick layer of ice which covers most of the continent. At one place, this ice blanket is almost 5 kilometres thick, and this enormous ice cap makes Antarctica by far the highest continent on Earth. Ice keeps building up on the surface, but it also flows slowly downhill in huge streams towards the coast. In places, it even flows out onto the ocean, forming ice shelves or floating glaciers. When pieces break off these ice shelves, they form icebergs which float out into the Southern Ocean. If the ice cap melted, Antarctica would most likely look something like this. Life on Antarctica is only suited to a few tough plants and animals. All have their own way of living in harsh conditions. Plants are scarce and can only live in a few ice-free areas. There's one type of grass, a number of mosses, liverworts, lichens, algae, fungi, and bacteria. Among the Antarctic animals, the penguins are probably well known to most people. 4 species of penguin live in huge rookeries: the lively adelies, the chinstrap with its distinctive black band under the chin, the gentoos, and the largest of all, the emperor. The ice is also home for a number of seals: the slow Weddell seal, the leopard seal, arch enemy of the Adelie penguin, the crab-eater seal who prefers krill rather than crab, the rare Ross seal, and largest of all, the elephant seal. Unlike the land, the ocean is full of life. Anemones, krill, sponges, sea spiders, fish, and a lot more. But most obvious are the giant whales. The blue whale is the largest and can grow up to 31 metres long. The ocean is a very important place for all Antarctic animals. It's their feeding ground, and krill is what they all directly or indirectly depend on. Early explorers sailed through the Southern Ocean in the hope of finding the mythical southern land. The early Greek philosophers thought that the world was symmetrical, and therefore a southern continent had to exist to balance the weight of those lands in the northern hemisphere. When Captain Cook crossed the Antarctic Circle in 1773, he